The Hunt for Jack the Ripper. The year was 1888 and a killer stalked the streets of London's Whitechapel district. 5 brutal murders of poor women grabbed headlines and spread fear across the city. The victims were all prostitutes, killed late at night by a monster the press called Jack the Ripper. The first victim was Mary Ann Nichols, discovered on August 31st, her throat viciously sliced open. Police Constable John Neal was the first to arrive at the scene. He was struck by the savagery of the attack, but found no clues to identify the murderer. On September 8, the body of Annie Chapman was found at 29 Hanbury Street. Her torso was mutilated, with organs removed. Inspector Frederick Aberline was disturbed by the level of butchery. It seemed the work of an expert with anatomical knowledge. A witness claimed to have seen Chapman talking with a man wearing a deerstalker hat. The double murder of Elizabeth Stride and Catherine Eddowes occurred on September 30. Stride was found in Dutfield's yard, her throat cut. Eddowes' mutilated body was discovered only 45 minutes later at Mitre Square. A piece of her blooded apron was left behind, along with a message scrawled on a wall: "The Jews are not the men that will be blamed for nothing." The final victim was 25-year-old Mary Jane Kelly, murdered on November 9 in her rented room at Miller's Court. She had been completely eviscerated, her gruesome remains a horrific sight. Scotland Yard was overwhelmed. No solid clues, no viable suspects. In desperation, Inspector Aberline enlisted the help of Sherlock Holmes. At the site of Kelly's murder, Holmes discovered a blood-stained pipe left behind by the killer. Traces of an unusual tobacco led Holmes to a shop where the pipe had been purchased by a man fitting the description of a local barber, Aaron Kosminski. Holmes staked out Kosminski's apartment and observed his erratic, violent behavior. He matched Kosminski's access and movements to the murder sites and times of the killings. Finally, Holmes and Watson broke into Kosminski's room, finding a blood-stained knife, apron scraps, and meticulous newspaper clippings about the murders. Cornered, Kosminski confessed to being Jack the Ripper, driven by an uncontrollable hatred of women. He was captured and institutionalized, ending the deadliest serial killing spree in London's history. Holmes had solved the case by applying deductive reasoning to even the smallest clues. His skill brought a murderer to justice and gave some closure to the families of the victims.
Thanks to Holmes' brilliant detective work, London's reign of terror has ended at last. But the identity of Jack the Ripper will forever remain a mystery in the annals of true crime.